It says in their website that this is their thinnest wool yarn. Let's say a yarn is labeled non-mulesing. Technically, it's also hard to trace back where it came from because of the overall production process, especially with big yarn brands. Hi everyone, my name is Julia and welcome back to my channel, and here we talk all things about knitting or anything fiber arts related. So today we're just going to be talking about my stash for 2024, and right now in Manila it's starting to get hot. I got my iced chocolate drink right here. For some reason, I'm not in the mood to drink coffee lately. It's in the middle of the day. It's 2 p.m. right now. It's hot. I can feel summer coming already. Earlier this year, in late January, I did a huge destash. So I sold around maybe 30-40% of my yarns. I would like to show you some of my previous years that I had. I was able to sell 2 boxes of my old yarns, but I still have 2 left, which are these. So I have them in small boxes, and then I have another one, which is this one. If you were from the Philippines or from Manila, just message me on Instagram because these are still available, and I think these are really lovely colors. It's just I don't know what to do with them anymore, and it's such a waste if they're just sitting there in my stash. It just makes sense to just make it available for someone else to use them for their own different projects. So currently for this year, I'll be working on a smaller stash compared to the previous years that I've been knitting. Most of them, I bought them from last year or back in 2022. And I have mostly wool. I have some linen, cotton, and some other fiber blends. So let's start first with the Sadnes Yarn. This is the Double Sunday. It's 100% merino wool. Is in the color taupe, and this is a DK weight. So as you can see, it comes in this kind of warm gray color. Is a 50 grams skein with 108 meters of yardage. I purchased 7 balls of these for my Ingrid Slipover project, and I'm gonna show it to you how it looks like right now. So this is currently one of my favorite whips. As you can see, the color is really nice and it looks so good, especially on the moss stitch. I think I am about maybe 30% done with this project, and so far with Double Sunday, I love working with it. It is really smooth on the needles and it doesn't split or anything. Another color of the Double Sunday that I got is this electric blue, and as you can see, it's in this really nice rich, kind of like a royal blue color. And I was able to use this with a beanie project, and this is kind of just like a leftover. The only thing is I can't help but compare it with my Malabrigorias yarn because I'm also working on another project using that yarn. And it's this sweater. I free-handed this one, so it's like this raglan, really colorful, because I'm currently working on a sweater using that yarn, which is this one. And as you can see, it's really colorful. I think I've been working on this for a couple of months now, since last year, and I still haven't finished it. But yeah, compared to Malabrigorias yarn, this is definitely softer. But overall with wool, it's a given that they will have different textures. But so far, this is really nice to work with. Use this with a beanie project, and this is kind of just like a leftover. Moving on to the next one is the Sunday. So this is the thinner version of the Double Sunday. This one is in light fingering weight, and as you can see, it comes in this cool gray color. It is in the color pearl gray, which is 3820 in number. And this one has 235 meters. This is also non-superwash merino wool. It says in their website that this is their thinnest wool yarn. And I'm excited to try this because I haven't tried knitting with this thin of a yarn. Like, look at how thin it is. I'm sure it will take a long time with projects like this, but I'm thinking of maybe making just like an accessory with this too. Maybe like a little beanie or like a headband or a bonnet. That's it for the Sunday. So the last and third one with my Sadnes Yarn purchase is this mini alpaca yarn. So I bought 2 of these. So this one is in the color lilac, and as you can see, it's like a cool lavender color. This is a fingering sport weight too, so it's really thin. And compared to the Sunday, I think this looks more like it has a bit more of a halo. I'm not sure if it's just me or just like my eyes currently, but to me, it definitely looks like it has more halo in it. And it says too that this one, since it's alpaca, it's 3 times warmer than wool. So yeah, I'm currently loving like really muted colors like this. And I'm also thinking of making some sort of accessory with this one, because this one just has 150 meters per ball. So just a total of 300 meters, maybe just enough to make another accessory, maybe like a little scarf or a little hat too. So next one, I'm going to show you some of my drops yarns that I have. And these are the ones that I got from Woolwarehouse last year. So this is the Drops Kidsilk Mohair. And so the Drops Kidsilk is made with 75% mohair and 25% silk, and this one is 25 grams with 210 meters in yardage. Found up some of them, and I currently have 1, 2, 4 balls of these, and to be honest, like I don't know what to do with them yet, but maybe I'm gonna pair this. I'm gonna try pairing this with the mini alpaca by Sadnes Yarns. Because like if you can see, the colors actually look nice together, because this is kind of like a cool lavender color, while this one is on like the warmer purple-ish side. This one is in color 9. I forgot the name of the color. I think it's light lavender or something. I've tried swatching this before and making a vest out of it, but I had to frog it because I really didn't like how it looked like together with the brushed alpaca. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna try this again and pair it with another yarn. The next one that I have is these brush alpaca silk. This is also in the color lavender, but this is more on the bluer tone. And this one is also 25 grams with 140 meters. Currently, I have about 4 balls of these, which is actually enough to make a garment. But I'm thinking of maybe just separating the two and using this too for an accessory, and maybe leaving this for another project. This one is 77% alpaca and 23% silk. And as you can see, since this is brushed alpaca, this has more of a halo in it compared to the Kidsilk Mohair. I can say that this is a bit like fluffier in texture, but I think a bit softer in texture compared to the Kidsilk Mohair. I'm not sure yet how it pairs with another yarn. I actually tried pairing this with the Drops Kidsilk Mohair before, like this too. The color actually turned out nice, but I really didn't like how it looked like and it felt like, because I think it felt a bit too mohairy. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe a bit more rough. I didn't like how there's too much halo. So I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna experiment this and maybe pair it with this Sunday. Don't know how this would turn out, but yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be swatching this maybe and see how this turns out. So next one are the yarns I got from Katia. I wasn't really familiar with the brand until I went to Italy last year, and I was looking for some yarns to get from European brand, and they are from Spain. And these are some of the yarns that I got. This is their Prime Merino, which is 100% wool. This one is superwash, and I got this in the color 6. This is in the color fawn brown. It says fawn brown, but as you can see, it definitely doesn't look brown. It looks gray. And this one, I was kind of a bit disappointed because in the website, it looks like brown, like khaki or tan. But as you can see, it's more of a grayish color. But jumping in here for a little editor's note, so I went back to Katia's website and then I saw that they have this downloadable color range in PDF, which I didn't saw at first, so I think it's partially my fault for not looking at this, because the colors are more accurate in the PDF format. It's closer to the actual color of the yarns in person. So yeah, just a reminder to check that out if you're gonna buy from Katia. Okay, bye. But like, I'm not too mad about it since this is also a really nice color. And this one is 50 grams with 120 meters or 131 yards. And I got 4 of these. I bought it in another color, which is this one. This is in the color number 22 in the color sky blue. And as you can see, this one is DK weight, and I got 4 balls of this. And I was thinking of making the rose knitwear Escher Beanie, and maybe I'm just gonna be using this too for the beanie quantity. For the remaining 2, I don't know yet, to be honest. I saw that they recommend this also for baby knit, so maybe I'm gonna do a baby knit for this one, like the Anker's Bonnet by PetiteKnit or the baby bonnet by Pernille Larsen. They're so cute. I don't have a baby myself, but sometimes when I look at baby knits, I just want to knit some of them because like they're just like so cute and small, and I think they're fun little fast projects. Just give me a random baby and I'll make them a cute little bonnet or sweater or something. I just want to try making baby knit because they look so cute and they also look really fast to make. Also, I noticed this in the yarns where it says non-mulesing wool. I'm just dropping by here to explain more about mulesing because I don't think I explained it very well in the video. Just a disclaimer too, the information that I found here, I just also found on the internet, and I'm gonna link them down below for you to read because there's also a lot of information about it as someone who is not really familiar with this at all. So going back to the 19th century, mulesing is a practice that was developed in Australia to prevent the parasitic infection called fly strike. Fly strike occurs in sheep, particularly in Merino sheep, and this is a disease where flies lay eggs on the skin folds of the sheep. That's why farmers remove the wool from that part of the sheep. But the thing also with this practice is it removes part of the skin of the sheep, which is really cruel, and if you think about it, it's graphic. Also, trigger warning if you're gonna Google it, there are really graphic images, so just giving you a warning there. On a brighter note, there's a majority in parts of the world that don't practice mulesing, like in UK, US, Ireland, and other countries. And this is also because climate is also colder in those countries, and fly strike usually occurs in warm weather countries like in Australia. I got my handy dandy laptop here to look into more information. So it says here that in 2004, there was an initiative to get rid of mulesing until 2010, but the date has passed and nothing has happened. It is always hard to change things when it comes to animal welfare. We see that now in Germany, where the government is trying to pass a law against neutering pigs without painkillers. It takes forever to reach a consensus. Going back to the yarn conversation, let's say a yarn is labeled non-mulesing. Technically, it's also hard to trace back where it came from because of the overall production process, especially with big yarn brands. This is because the supply chain is so long and it's hard for us, of course, consumers, to know the whole process about it. So given that, as consumers, it just brings down to doing our own research, and I think that's just the best that we can do. That's just some of the information that I found out about mulesing. It's not something that I'm familiar with because I am from the Philippines. We don't have sheep here, so usually most of our yarns, our local yarns at least, are just sourced from natural plant fibers like cotton. As someone who loves working with merino wool and of course yarn in general as a fiber artist, this is something that I just had to look into, and I went into a whole rabbit hole of this. So I'm gonna link some of the resources that I found down below for you to check them out. So moving on from all the wool and alpaca and the other warm fibers, we're gonna move on to the next, which is linen and cotton. So this is the linen yarn by Katia, and this is 53% cotton and 47% linen. So this one is definitely really nice for summer knits, and when I purchased this, I was thinking of making a summer top, kind of like the ones that you can put over a swimwear. And I did one of those before using 100% cotton, and I want to make something similar to that. I got 5 of these, and as you can see, they are more earth tones and khakis and beige. This one is in the color khaki. For the yardage, this is 112 meters, and I think this is also on the fingering weight, so you can see how thin it is. And basing on the fibers, it is a bit loosely plied together, maybe because of the nature of it being linen. It kind of has a rough linen texture to it. This is in the color 12 or khaki. This other one is in the color 8, which is the color camel. So since summer is coming, I'm definitely excited to try this. I haven't really worked with linen before. I just work with 100% cotton. And I know that cotton really drapes a lot, especially after washing. But with this one, I don't know yet how the fabric will behave. But I'm assuming that with its linen component, I'm hoping it will have a bit more of a sturdier structure to it to hold the cotton. The colors just like really look so nice. I've been leaning towards the neutrals, earthy, mossy colors lately. That's it for the linen cotton yarns, and moving on to the next one, and maybe my biggest purchase last year. I think this is the most yarn that I bought ever within the same fiber type and quantity. It's a lot. I had to put them in a bag so they don't go all over the place. And this is the Concept by Katia. This is their cotton merino yarn. This one is in the color fawn brown. And in terms of yardage, this is 50 grams and 105 meters or 115 yards. I think I spent a good 40 minutes looking at the website and just like computing the yardage that I need for this project, which is the Obba sweater by AegyoKnit. I saw this in one of Danish Musings vlogs, and I immediately fell in love with the pattern because I really wanted to do more color work this year. And I was just like looking through Katia's website and just trying to pair the colors because the pattern calls for a main color and a secondary color. This one is I think around 1,300-ish for a little bit of allowance in case I make mistakes and stuff. As for first impressions for this, it looks like it has a decent amount of stretch in it. I can say that this really feels soft, and I think it's also because of the cotton component with it. And as you can see, it looks like it has this airy texture with it. It reminds me of the Drops Air, though I personally haven't tried or bought Drops Air yet, but it looks like it was spun with kind of like tube-like in a way, if you can see it here. For this color, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. The pattern calls for a main color and then a secondary color. And then I got one in another color, which is a color 107 in color dark gray. So as you can see, it's in this really... So as you can see, the color is kind of variegated. It comes in this like dark gray and light gray, as you can see in the strands. And I think they just complement really well with each other. This one kind of like reminds me sort of a cappuccino color. So in terms of fiber percentage, this one is 70% cotton and 30% wool, which makes it still majority cotton. And the reason that I chose this over buying 100% wool is I wanted a sweater and the pattern is in color work instead, which I think will make the garment have a bit more of a thickness to it. So yeah, that's why I chose this one. Also, I haven't tried any yarns that's like this. It's really fluffy. I'm excited to try this one. So before I left Italy, I had to bulk all my yarns in little bags like this because I just got a lot of them and I had to fit them all in my luggage, which is just like 25 kilograms. Successfully brought them here all the way here to the Philippines. So another linen purchase that I got is this one by Lana Grossa, and this is in the color. And this one, I really just got it because I wanted to try Lana Grossa and their brand. This is just literally just one single skein. I genuinely don't know yet what to do with this, but definitely just like a little accessory of some sort. Maybe I'll try to knit this with a bigger needle, maybe like a 5 or 6, and maybe just make a little loose knit. So for this one, this is 50 grams with 120 meters. Comparing it with Katia, which has 112 meters, 122 yards. So they're not far from each other in terms of yardage. For this one, the linen percentage is just 20%, and then 80% of it is viscose. So both for these yarns, since they are linen and cotton, there's really not much of a stretch when it comes to it. And that's just like, I guess, the nature of the fiber, which makes it a bit more drapier than wool and other fibers. But definitely, I'm excited to try this one because it also feels really soft. Maybe also because of the viscose. This one has a bit of like a shinier texture to it. Kind of a bit more silky, maybe because of the viscose. This one, I got it from Fiordilana, which is the shop where I bought the other Sadnes Yarns. And yeah, excited to try this one too. So moving on to the yarns that I got from Florence. These are yarns that I got from Campolmi, and I got 3 cakes of these. So these are the yarns from Campolmi itself. They made and dyed these yarns themselves, and they actually didn't give me any particular yardage, just estimates. So right now I'm gonna take out my handy dandy weighing scale and let's weigh these. For this particular cake, so this one is around 109 grams. This is, I assume, in DK weight. And this one is made from 100% wool too. For this one though, this definitely feels more on the rough side. I am not sure what to do with this yet, but I just got one of each color to try it out. So maybe I'm gonna incorporate this in a future project of maybe a sweater or cardigan. I think these colors really go well together. They are on the lighter shades of yellows and gray. And yeah, next one is we're gonna weigh this. So let's see how it is. So this one is 104 grams. It is in this yellowish color. The colors actually don't have a particular name themselves. So the guy there in the yarn shop just like pulled out a box of these different hand-dyed yarns that they got, and I just basically chose from those. So next one is this cake. This one is a warmer gray compared to this one, which is kind of like a minty color. Of course, this one doesn't have a name too. I don't know what to call it. But among the 3 cakes, this one looks the biggest. So let's weigh this one. So yeah, this one is 115 grams. For these 3 cakes, it's around maybe 350-ish grams of yarn in total. And this one definitely looks like it has a lot of yardage. Maybe a cake would definitely fit an accessory quantity still. Maybe I'm just gonna make it work together with the other wool yarns that I have. And last but not the least is this yarn that I have. This is actually just on my display right here. This one is by Darn Good Yarn in the color Watercolors. This is a hand-dyed yarn, and as you can see, it comes in like this string of different colors. This one is a total of 300 yarns for 50 grams. I actually used this on a project before together with synthetic boucle and mohair, and I find that this is actually nice to work with, but it definitely feels really delicate because this one is lace fingering weight, which is really thin, and also it has zero stretch at all. It almost has like that feeling. The texture is kind of almost paper-ish. So far, I would just like to put this on display on my pegboard. I don't really have any particular plans of using this in a project in the future. Maybe in the far future, but yeah, it's just one of those because look how pretty it is. So those are all the yarns in my stash. As you can see, it's fairly small. I don't really have like a big shelf or like bulks of yarn that I have. I actually just store my yarn in that little shelf right there. Just 2 boxes of those, and that's pretty much it. Also, just for a little overview of how much it costs, because I was also a bit curious of how much all the yarns that I have cost, and I went back to some of the receipts that I had. Currently, it is around more or less $317 or 17,792 in pesos. So yeah, I can say it's definitely also an investment, like the amount of yarns that I have. It's fairly small, but in terms of value too and the quality of the fibers, I am really happy with them, and I'm excited to work on the projects. So yeah, that's it for my little yarn stash tour. I like to keep my stash small, and I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. Let me know if you have any favorite yarns or like yarn suggestions. I would love to explore more on different fibers. I don't know, I just have this thing with wool. Even if I live in a tropical country, I just love working so much with it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.